to use it are so trapped in our thinking about previous media that it takes us a while to say, wait a minute, we might be missing something here. This is a woman named Ingva Reichveld, I don't remember. She was very famous briefly because right at the advent of color television in the United States, she had the idea that color television would actually be good for filming things that were interesting to look at, like food, and so she had one of the first food programs. But prior to that, as a few of us who are old enough to remember, television programming was about pointing the camera at a radio announcer. So taking the framework, the mentality of a previous medium, and it took us a while to break out of that mold. And we're in that same boat right now with mobile. So here's some things to think about in terms of mastering mobility. The big lesson that some of us are still struggling to learn is that the mobile internet experience is not a mini internet. Yes, it has a little screen for many of the devices in which we interact, but that's a mental trap that we fall into. Actually, the mobile internet has many, many new tools touching the devices at the edge of the mobile experience that can bring this experience to us in a much, much richer way than the online medium that it's most closely associated with so far. So in that context, you have GPS, positioning information, and also other location data. Many new devices, starting with the iPhone, have an accelerometer, so you can tilt it and move it around. It gives all kinds of great feedback. We have still and video cameras for imaging, speakers, and now projectors. There are some new cameras starting to have the ability to project on a wall so that you can get out of the little window trap and have a big screen. Near-field communications, a technology that allows you to wave a mobile device that has NFC in front of some other receiver and pay for something, or do other things, be recognized, use it as an identity device. And many different physical input and output mechanisms. So it's not just a tiny little screen that sometimes has a tiny little keyboard to go with it. Consequently, we are already starting to see that some of the things that we've done so far with the mobile internet related to brands are kind of dumb. So I was an analyst back in the early days of the internet, and I can remember the day when somebody called me and said, type in www.ragu.com. Does anybody remember the Ragu website? It was mind-blowing. Oh my God, Ragu, there's a website for Ragu? How wild is that? But when you think about it now, you think, I'm in my kitchen, am I really gonna go to ragu.com? No, I'm gonna go to Epicurious, I'm gonna go somewhere else. So here's an early mobile experience, and as a mobile experience, it isn't that bad. This is Nike. It's called Nike Gold. Anybody here from Italy? It's an international group, I'm told. No Italians here? Ah, benvenuto. So you can see the team members of Juventus, and you can see that Nicco wears a certain type of boot that happens to be a Nike shoe. And if you click on the boot, then you can see more about the boot. And it tells you all the features of the boot. But this is a very isolated and unintegrated experience. What is the first thing that's missing from this? Does it strike anybody now? This is about a year old. What? Buy it. Right, okay. I'm sold. I love Nicco. I want to wear the same boot. It's a transactional device. Let me purchase it. So, isolated experience. So let's talk about a few things that are much more appropriate for integrating brands into a mobile experience. Another one of my favorite movies, totally revealing my engineering roots, Buckaroo Banzai, and anybody know that movie? Yeah, about 5 other people saw that movie. Great line, wherever you go, there you are. And mapping is being renovated by the layering of additional information onto maps. In fact, pretty soon I don't think we'll call them maps anymore, but Navtech and many other firms are making opportunities for brands to be present wherever we are, and that's exactly what we want as brands, to be present where our consumers are. In a really interesting development beyond that, which I think relates to the Nike example, I hear a lot about the phrase augmented reality. And I don't like it. It reminds me of my college days. There was a lot of augmented reality. But, that was a long time ago. But the concept is using a device to layer more information onto the experience you're having in real life. So here's a great app. Anybody here from the UK? Yeah. Do you know this app? Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Have you ever used it? It's called Nearest To, and it right now only on the iPhone, I think. And you can hold it up, and it uses the positioning information to understand where you are, and it will show you on the screen a video still of where you are, and it will layer in the nearest tube stops on which lines they're on, augmenting the reality you have. And we're starting to see similar apps in Amsterdam. ING Bank has a similar application. You can hold it up. This is Dam Square in central Amsterdam. And you can hold it up, and it's showing you right here that from the Dam Square, the nearest ATM machine, where it's located, it gives you a little compass. And if you turn around, the compass adjusts. Right? That's making the brand present in my life when I need it in a much more visceral way. This great application that I really like, it's called Buzz, and if you're visiting New York here and you're here for another couple of hours or days, go to buzz.com and sign up from your mobile. Works on Blackberries, iPhones, and I think it works on any smartphone now, actually. And you can find out what's around you, what's going on. It could be events, restaurants, and you get real-time information from people who are there, whether you know them or not. I'm at this bar. It's worth the wait in the line to get in. The band is awesome. The drinks are overpriced. You know, drink up before you come. So it's contextual, it's immediate, and it's a great way to connect your experiences with brands. Here's another one. It's a little bit earlier days. This is just getting off the ground. It's called Foursquare, and it creates gaming experiences with a social networking element for brands in an area. So you can go and sign up, and you can let the Foursquare network know where you are, and it creates challenges and incentives. You can collect points and earn badges. I'm at a Dunkin' Donuts, and if you can answer questions about Dunkin' Donuts, you get a little badge points. So it's a promotional vehicle. So a couple things to think about. Brands do need to figure out how to master mobile. It's not going to be easy. It's still a new medium. But the diffusion of connectivity into things besides mobile phones is coming. And it will give us a chance to stay connected to consumers for the duration of their experience with their devices. When my coffee pot is connected, then it might sense when I'm running low on coffee, and it might be an opportunity to sell me more coffee. So I might be able to capture a longer and richer relationship with the consumer if I maintain that digital pathway. But it really comes from learning how to use it. So you can't treat it like online, because it isn't like online. It has many more features, and one of those features is its immediacy. It's with me in my pockets. It's highly personal. And you don't get this as a present if you have a powerful brand, and this chart tells you why. So you know Zaggett's, the restaurant review guide, very, very well known. So on the left-hand side are the number of unique visits in the month of April to Zaggett's.com from mobile site, about 500,000. And on Yelp, which was a non-brand, what, a year ago, 2 years ago, did not even exist, no traction whatsoever in restaurants. The number of visits to their sites just for restaurant information in 1 month, 8 million. Zaggett's could have imagined it owned the mobile opportunity for restaurant reviews, right? We have the name, why shouldn't we be the guys? But they weren't the guys, they aren't the guys, they're done. So you don't get this as a gift, you have to make something happen. So to do that, you have to capitalize on context, what's around me, location being the most immediate aspect of context, but what do I feel like doing right now? It has to be personal to me. I will borrow somebody's computer, but I rarely now borrow somebody else's phone. It is the most intimate piece of electronics we have, and so we expect it to be relevant. I can call now one of the airlines from my home phone number, and it knows that I'm dialing from my home, and so it guesses who I am and says, oh yeah, Emily Green, your Delta account is blah, blah, blah. But if I go to their mobile website, it doesn't know anything about me, and the first thing I have to do is to type in my Delta number. That's just wrong, right? It should know me. Presence, identity, and modality. These are elements of this medium that are not attached to other electronic media. So these are things we have to figure out to be masters of mobile.